I'm recording.
Nick's
Good.
always recording. He's Nixon.
Yeah.
All right.
Nixon.
Nick's son.
I got that
Nick's
reference.
son Tice.
The long
All
lost
right.
son of Nixon.
Episode 348 of the TV Dudes, recorded September 1st, 2021. I hate my coworkers. We here at TV Dudes coworkers, we love our TV Dudes coworkers here at TVD HQ, but we know not everyone is so lucky. You could be in for academic backbiting and infighting like in The Chair on Netflix, or you could have a relationship based entirely on tormenting one another like in The Grand Tour on Prime, or you could be one of the dysfunctional spies on Archer on FX. Even if you're lucky, your coworkers could get into difficult relationships like on this week's Ted Lasso, or cause you to destroy the space-time continuum like on this week's What If. We'll get into all that. But before we do, I'm Randy.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Nick. Really lamenting you. It's always the worst when your coworkers are alternate timeline versions of you.
It is. It's terrible.
Unless they're a hot alternate timeline version of you, in which case I'd pull a Loki. I'd be into it.
But even then, it raises philosophical questions, Kyle. It's difficult.
That's true. You should never date a coworker, especially when they're a variant of yourself.
That's it's just good advice. Well, Les is not with us this week, but the three of us are going to hold it down. We got some shows to talk about. Kyle has his beloved Grand Tour to talk about again.
Actually.
Oh, you don't?
No, I backed out of the driveway a little too slow and didn't get through all of it. But there is 2 new specials out there for my fans of the Grand Tour who are dying to hear me talk about this. No, they have their new special that came out, but then there's also the Clarkson Buys a Farm, which was actually recommended to me by my in-laws, which kind of says something about the demographic for that show. But yeah, it's the same hilarity of the auto show, but now with chickens and farm stuff.
Cool. So I can not watch it for that.
Yeah, no, TBD. A lot of TV this week.
Speaking of a lot of TV this week, that seems like a good segue to talk about our TV diaries. And I've got a bunch on here, so I'm going to go last.
Okay.
Kyle, Nick, which one of you wants to kick this off?
Not it.
Yeah, let me kick us off.
All right.
I don't mind going first. Back in the day, it was a trick when I used to play in garage bands. You would go first because every time a band would finish at like a big showcase, all their fans would leave. So it's like the first band also had the biggest crowd. Last band only had like the people they brought to the show.
Right.
So my fans are going to leave after TV Diaries. Just heads up, guys.
No, they got to stick around for the Patreon.
That's true. Actually, Cruella, I'm pretty excited to talk about this because when I saw it, we did the early access, and I was like, am I going to get to talk to somebody about this? Time is now. Place, patreon.com.
The time is when Randy finally catches up with it.
It's right. I didn't want to pay $30 for it, but I'm glad I saw it. We'll talk about it on Patreon. We'll get to it.
But yeah, as for TV Diaries, everything I've watched this week, we're going to talk about later in the show. But I did have a really fun companion to The Chair because about 2 episodes into The Chair, I just got that Sandra Oh craving. I had to pop on some Arliss season 7.
That's where you go for Sandra Oh, Arliss?
Yeah, you guys don't remember? She was the assistant on Arliss.
No, I don't remember Arliss. I barely remember it existing.
Oh my gosh, it's Arliss Super Age. Essentially, it was the 90s version of Ballers.
Oh, that sounds absolutely awful.
Like, take Ballers, put it in the 90s, and replace The Rock with Seinfeld. Or
no.
a Seinfeld-ish comedian.
Don't get me wrong. I watched some of Arliss, but I deliberately deleted it from the memory banks, Kyle.
Don't start off with it's the 90s version of anything. That does not make it sound great. Like you're working, you're
It's the
paddling upstream
1950s
already.
version of Entourage, but not.
It's the Robert Wool vehicle, Arliss.
But no, Arliss is a lot of fun, and it's a lot of dated comedy. It's one of those things. Had I not been going through puberty watching it, like waiting for the 2 seconds of like nudity in there to like, sustain me for the next week until, Saturday night HBO, Yeah, I don't know if I'd have the same type of emotional connection to it, but it's not only is it funny, but I forgot how jarring the tone shifts are in each of these episodes because it
Mm-hmm.
usually starts hijinks ensue. Like in one of the episodes, oh no, the office is full of people. Where'd all these people come from? So and so's setting up a bake sale. What? And then the comedy gets real perverted. There might even be like a naked woman. Like they're just eating sushi off of a naked woman. So it's like, okay, you got the kind of childish humor. Now we got the naked ladies. I like, okay, I get this gear. And then it's like, uh-oh, let's get serious, you know. And then they drop the R word. And you can use any R word you want because they're all bad. But no, they will dive into like these crazy topics where it's like probably social commentary of the time. I mean, stuff that's still relevant today, but they'll do that for like 10% of an episode. And then it's back to like a little comedy bit right before they leave. But yeah, it's usually like, man, somebody's sexually assaulting someone
Oh,
or
Jesus.
like their, race is influencing, what a player's getting paid and there's nothing they can do. Or it's really weird, especially since the humor is all about like, it's kind of that screw your buddy over comedy that was really popular in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's trying to one up and it's almost like Three Stooges but in more of a social way.
What's the social equivalent of poking somebody's eyes out?
Would be like ordering a bunch of pizzas to their desk and now they got to pay for it, or like
Ah,
leaving
okay.
them. Yeah, I'm trying. They're really obvious scenarios you've seen in a dozen 90s sitcoms. But it is the confluence of the nudity, the kind of childish humor, and then also the occasional, sexual violence or some other, really serious topic.
You're not
Just
you're not
sprinkle that in
selling
there.
you're not selling me on a Return to Arliss here.
Oh yeah, no, if you weren't into it then, I don't think anything's going to take you back to it, but
No.
I mean, this is my TV diary. This is what I'm thinking about when I'm watching. And I even went back and forth. I do like an episode of The Chair, an episode of Arliss. Uh yeah, I'm excited to talk about The Chair though.
Your TV habits are very strange.
You didn't
Different
go to like,
way.
I mean, Grey's Anatomy or Killing Eve.
No, but Killing Eve looks really good. I mean,
Killing
everybody's
Eve is
talking about
really
it
good.
because
At
of
least
God,
this,
season
but
one
then
is.
also Free Guy just came out.
I love that Ryan Reynolds movie, Free Guy. You know what makes me want to go do? Watch two guys in a pizza place. Said no one fucking ever.
Kyle, we're judging your TV diaries, but what else you got?
Hey, that's it. And that is it. But
Oh,
I
okay.
don't I don't I don't mind the judgment. No, I watched everything else we're going to talk about later, but yeah, we'll get to that later. The Ted Lassos and the Marvel What Ifs,
Yeah.
The Chair. What was that other one? We had a fourth one on there.
Archer.
Archer. Oh yeah, and Archer, which love. It's the season of like wife eye rolling TV. And Archer's
Yeah.
like right up there.
So, I watched all the homework, and I watched. I kept up with Star Trek Lower Decks, which I thought third episode that was good. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I realized they're dropping two at a time, which it makes sense. They're kind of burning it off. It is the final season, and I'm glad to get 2 weeks of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but it does also remind me that basically they are burning it off. That like they had successfully transitioned to Fox. It makes me sad that they are burning off episodes, but at the same time, I'm getting two Brooklyn Nine-Nines a week, and that's not so bad.
Dude, the Pontiac Bandit and Jake episode this week, PB and
Oh,
J.
always good. You mean probably the final Pontiac Bandit
Ugh,
episode?
don't say that.
I know, but it probably was.
Uh,
Yeah, it's definitely bittersweet, but I'm digging it. It's a high note to go out on. And they're doing some ambitious stuff as far as like talking about police culture stuff. So I hope that they basically their secret weapon is that they're going to take this entire ensemble cast and make a different show with them, and they're going to reveal that at the end of the season. I will hold on to that dream until it's crushed for real.
Or bigger dream, it's a Mike Schur reunion for the finale of like all of his TV shows, and then there's like a super Avengers
A
cast of
spin-off,
Mike Schur characters. Yeah, from
the
like
Sure
Parks and
cinematic
Rec and The Good
universe.
Place. Yeah.
I
Ooh, the
would watch the
Sherverse.
Sure cinematic
yeah,
universe,
the
the
it's the
Sureverse.
time. It just goes really bad. Everyone needs to get into porn. It's now Brooklyn 6ix9ine.
Oh no, you made it worse, but I'd still
I'd
watch
watch
it.
that.
Um, I did watch the season finale of The Good Fight, which I can't wait. I'm sure Les and I will talk about that a little bit next week. I have had such mixed feelings about The Good Fight this season, and I continue to have mixed feelings about the finale. But it's such a good show. I'm glad I started watching it.
You guys describing it week after week has given me an ethical crisis.
It is that this year. I watched Ant-Man with my son as we make our way through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've now finished up Phase 2.
I love
It's
Ant-Man.
time for awesome Phase 3, which is the best, so I can't wait. We're doing Civil War next. Caught a couple more episodes of The Hustler, which is always fun. There was some wild stuff on The Hustler. The one that there's like, I watched one where basically they made almost no money, and then I watched another one where their hustler was like a polyamorous rocket scientist, BDSM It was
I
crazy.
saw that one.
And I was pretty sure I picked up the
Yeah.
hustler on that one, but I wasn't 100% sure. So
It was like
and I was
every
right.
question, you're like,
Yep.
no way the person is all of that plus this. Like those are
Yes,
the
yeah.
best episodes.
Yeah, it was there. It was great.
It's like Stranger Than
Cruella,
fan
which we're gonna
fiction
talk
if it was a person.
Yes. Caught the first 2 episodes of American Horror Story season 10, which originally was on the docket for this week, but Les definitely wants to talk about that, so we're gonna scoot that out a week. Went back since we got AMC Plus. A friend mentioned that you could get it for like $5 a month if you bought the year, and then it came with Shudder and BBC America and independent films, and we're like, that's worth $5 a month. So we now have AMC Plus for all of you out there wanting to throw us anything at the Patreons. We got another streaming service. I went back and watched not all of, but the 2 through 5 of Kevin Can Fuck Himself, which I watched the first episode for free, and I'm really loving it. It's the sitcom stuff is almost too unbearable, but when they switch the cameras and they go to sort of the real life stuff, it's really dark and interesting, and it's also just a direct shot across the bow at shit shows like Kevin Can Wait. So I love it for that.
This is
That's
Kevin
been-
Hart.
Yeah, no, not Kevin Hart. It's a shot at Kevin James.
Yeah.
And his shit
No,
sitcoms.
who's in the show though?
Oh,
Is it
it's-
Kevin James show?
No, it's not. I don't know who the cast is.
That would have been great if
Okay.
he made fun of himself if he was in it.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty funny.
Kevin James.
Mhm.
Kevin James is not self-aware enough to do that. I watched 2 episodes of 9 Perfect Strangers over on Hulu, which is another one of these feels like White Lotus type shows. It's a wellness retreat. It's David E. Kelly. It's got a star-studded cast that includes Melissa McCarthy and Nicole Kidman and Jason Mendoza from Good Place. And it's a weird little drama, and Michael Shannon's in it. It's Samara Weaving playing very against type as sort of
Nice.
an influencer type. It's very interesting. It's the same way White Lotus, where I'm like, I wish you had taken this cast and made any other show, but it's a very pretty show and it's an interesting show, and I'm going to keep watching it. Just like I'll probably go back to White Lotus at some point.
I have a theory for how this show and White Lotus got made. This is what like rich Hollywood people did when they quarantined in
Oh,
resorts. They just wrote
100%.
screenplays.
100%. This is all like
What
this is
if?
all- yeah.
I was having an affair with this guy, and then they killed so and so.
I think you've nailed on the head, Kyle. It is the rich people thinking, oh, this is approachable. We all did this. No, you rich fuck, we
Yeah.
didn't.
All right, here's my idea about a show where we're trapped on our yacht for the rest of quarantine. It's
Everyone can relate.
our harrowing story.
We ran out of salmon on the second week. We were forced to eat carp.
Garbage
All
fish.
capers, no fish.
And then I caught the first 2 episodes of Only Murders in the Building on Hulu, which I'm very excited to talk about next week.
Ooh. I'm excited to watch that.
Nick, what about you?
Oh, what did I watch? I continue my watch of Justified. Into season 3 now with Neil McDonough as the new villain.
Ooh,
I like he's got that taxi driver like fucking gun thing of his.
Mhm.
And I love that little thing because it makes every interaction with him very tense, because you know that at any moment, like whenever they just show his sleeve, like or his right hand or whatever, you know that this could devolve into a shootout at any moment.
Right. And is it Mekhi Phifer playing the guy in sort of the Hollow?
Oh,
It is Mekhi Phifer. Or am I mixing it up with somebody else?
yeah, I know. I think I'm trying to remember the uh, the holler guy. Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name.
Yeah, it's God. I'm looking it up right now. I'm trying to see if it comes to me, but I can't seem to find it.
Yeah, damn.
But I'll keep looking.
But yeah,
Yeah,
him
but
and
yeah,
Boyd are having that conflict over this season.
yeah. I mean, they're coming off Max Bennett, who was one of the best villains they ever did, and I thought that bringing in McDonough and if it was Mekhi Phifer, was a fantastic move. I'm looking to see. Oh, McKelty Williamson as Elston
Yeah,
Limehouse.
that's what it is. Limehouse. Limehouse, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Him and he's got his own. I like that there's like when you go into Harlan, like it's like you go into a time machine, like because
Hmm.
there's this whole like rednecks and stuff, but then there's this black community that I haven't seen in the last 2 seasons because they're like in their own cordoned off little section.
Yeah,
And they have their own rules and their own like fucking Boyd and Raylan or whatever. And Limehouse is like the Boyd of that area. And I don't know, I just found it very interesting. And uh Boyd basically being a villain because he can't not be. Like even no one will leave him alone
yeah,
long enough for him to not be a villain anymore. Like even Raylan is constantly coming back on him. Like I know you're gonna do something. Well, maybe I wouldn't do something if you kept not kept harassing me about it. But
yeah.
yeah, him and what's the guy that plays Win Duffy? I love him.
Oh, yeah, that's
Great
right. He gets a lot more to do in
Great
this
recurring
season.
season, a great recurring villain.
Yeah,
I think they
yep,
they regretted only having him for like one episode in season 1. So
yeah,
they're really starting to utilize him. Them and
yeah.
the Dixie Mob.
And he recurs throughout. Like that's a long
He's
time
there until
character.
the end, yeah. Like he's all the way until the end there. But it's because Win Duffy is crazy and he thinks Neil McDonough by the end of this season is like, this guy's fucking nuts. We got to get rid of him. Like
Yeah.
I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well.
Yep.
I loved the Pontiac Bandit episode. I loved how it ended.
Oh,
Of
so
just
good.
the
Yep.
final send off of that relationship was just I almost teared up on it. It was great. Uh,
Yeah.
Lower Decks. I watched
Mhm.
the new one there. I love that like Mariner and I forget her name, Celine. Uh,
I forget it too.
yeah.
The
The
Orion girl.
Orion one, yeah, but they go to
That
her
was that was great.
they they go to a pirate, like, Orion pirate base, and they have to dress up Mariner in green face. It's just like
Yep.
it's just like, this makes me feel weird. How about we don't mention this to anyone, alright?" And I love, like, she is, like, this big shit over there, like, with her cousin or something that
Yep.
just kicks the shit out of him when he questions her on anything.
You shouldn't be here. If the syndicate catches me talking to
You'll do what I tell you to do, you dumb-faced jerk!
Holy crap, who are you right now?
It's an Orion thing. It actually makes me really uncomfortable.
Donnie, I have a piece of loot I need you to repair. It has to look like it was never broken in order to rip someone off.
anything for you, mistress of the winter constellations.
Like, "Just make this thing for us, you bitch!" And like, "Oh my god, who are you right now?" And yeah, I just loved showing that whole other side. Like these two don't really know anything about each other, and they've served on this ship for like a year, but they both have their like designated pairs, like her and Rutherford and Mariner and Boimler. Oh yeah, and then Boimler is not part of the system, and he can't get into any fucking office or anything on the Cerritos.
That was
Like,
so good. Yeah.
he's just stuck and he doesn't want anyone to help him. Like, no, I should still be in the system, god damn it.
Yep.
I watched Muppet Treasure Islands because I thought we were gonna do that for the Patreon, but we'll save that for next week. Forgot how much I
Yes.
love that movie. Uh and how much Tim Curry steals it. With the other Muppet movies, I feel like you have other people having to act with the Muppets. And in this movie, the Muppets have to act with Tim Curry.
Yeah.
The power dynamic has shifted to the more cartoonish person.
Yeah, I need to catch up on that. Because I have not seen that. That's one of the reasons we're not doing it this week. I had not get a chance to watch it.
Yeah. See, I caught up on that time I got reincarnated as a slime. It finally started up again. Man, that show just goes COVID and everything is fucked up a lot of production stuff at animation houses, but that show has been starting up and stopping and starting all over the place. He has a new dragon friend. Like their uh nation is now like I love that. Remember the fight I told you about, the last one, this big war. Well, apparently
Mhm.
their friends, the dwarves and the humans, sent armies themselves, or people to help. Like, oh man, we got your back, man. We signed that agreement, so we totally got you on this. Like, oh, don't worry, we took care of that. What do you mean you took care of it? Like, no, we just slaughtered them all. What? Like, because they're all thinking they're for this big war, and the monsters are like, no, dude, we totally got that. No, we need you for, like, trade and all that stuff. Fighting, no, we don't need that, man. And of course, now the humans and dwarves are just even more impressed / scared of this monster nation. What else did I watch? Oh, last thing I watched, Bound, the Wachowski movie.
Oh, I haven't watched that in years. Has it hold up?
It does hold up. It's very good. It's the movie they made so that they could make The Matrix. Like, the
Yeah.
studio they
Yeah, that
were
makes
trying to
sense.
work with didn't want to give them that much money for The Matrix, so they went in and they wanted to make another movie and show them that they had the chops to do it. So they made Bound, which is like a movie set in one apartment. So it must have been like the budget was just for Jennifer Tilly and Joey Pants, and Gina
Yeah.
Gershon.
Yep.
And it really reminds me how the Wachowskis can really shoot a movie that's very interesting in a way that they're very up on the emotion of the shot, evoking stuff. There's the scene where like the Joe Pantoliano has to clean money and iron it, and then he fans it up like just leaves all around like on clotheslines, and I'm like,
Mhm.
do I want to fuck money right now? I think I kind of want to fuck money, and I don't know why I want to do that, but you're like, not the console. No, I want to like get a bunch of money together and fuck it. But yeah, like the new Matrix movie I think is coming up, and that kind of got me in the mindset of like, oh yeah, I haven't watched the Bound movie in a while. And yeah, it does hold up. I was very happy to see that.
Nice.
And yeah,
Yeah, very
that was
cool.
basically for my TV diaries.
All right. Well, it's a good time to remind you that you can go over to patreon.com/tvdudes, throw us a buck an episode. In exchange, we get to keep up with our streaming services and pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. This week, we're taking a break from the Muppets, and we're going to talk about Disney's villainous prologue, Cruella, because it just turned up on Disney Plus for those of us too cheap to pay that premiere access, aka me.
Well, and that is just an example of what you get on Patreon. I mean, we're literally watching a smut film where a person kills animals. Yeah, and we're going to talk about it for you.
It's my favorite dog death movie.
Yeah, she's my favorite dog murderer, I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
other than that kid
Yeah.
from Old Yeller, but he cried like a bitch.
Beginning of the movie, I was way anti dog murder. End of the movie, who knows?
Yeah.
You got to tune into Patreon to find out.
We also have our $20 showrunner level, so if there are shows you want us to throw into the rotation, you can buy into that level, give us a couple of ideas. In September, we'll be talking about Psychopaths, and then the slate is clear, so
Ooh.
we'll have room for some new not anime. I mean, there's everything on AMC Plus.
Sure.
There's everything on Shudder.
Well, speaking of Dalmatians, they could have us watch the 101 Dalmatians animated series now on Disney Plus, right?
Oh my God, is that a real thing?
That is a real
Oh
thing.
wow, it was a real thing.
To be honest, I kind of want to watch that. Someone should Patreon that thing. I'd watch that.
Yeah, they have a chicken on there that thinks he's a dog.
I'm weirdly into Cruella now. Like I want to see the other iterations of her now. So yeah, you could talk me into that. That's not so bad. Usually you throw me something where I want to throw myself off a cliff, but that's not so bad. I can live with that.
There's also a new Chip and Dale on there too. I've been catching a few episodes here and
Oh,
there.
I've heard that. Yeah.
It's way different. It's no Rescue Rangers.
I'm sorry, I think you mispronounced that. I think it's pronounced Chip and Dale.
Rescue Rangers.
Rescue Rangers!
There was a guy at the TV karaoke who killed that song. And then
Oh,
he
yeah.
took all the other good Disney songs. So I was like, I've
Yes,
already
he
seen
did.
your act. You should have left some
Wow,
of
what a
those
fucking
for,
asshole.
you know.
Yeah, you gotta leave him wanting more. You gotta do the George Costanza, which, by
Yep.
the way, I saw a Netflix ad pop up that Seinfeld's moving to Netflix,
Wh-
um,
Oh,
off of
his
Hulu, and they had this ad that was really hilarious because they basically were announcing it as if it was a new 183 episode Netflix series that they're just dropping, and it's like from up and comers Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David, and it was a funny ad. It was very much in keeping with the style of
That's pretty
Seinfeld.
good.
It's
Doing little
yeah,
work but pretending that you have done a huge thing. That's very
yeah,
Seinfeld.
it is very
That's like a
Seinfeld.
stanza
You know
move
what I
right
also
there
just
if I've ever
realized?
seen one.
Classically, you would be kind of limited where you could syndicate your show. But
Yep.
it's funny because, instead of like Netflix saying we're going to have Seinfeld all year round, this could be seasonal, Hulu can have it now, then it can go somewhere else,
Well,
go
how
somewhere
much
else.
is
And
Jerry
it's just like,
Seinfeld and Larry David making in residuals with them keeping selling rights back and forth?
Yep.
Because
yeah,
Friends
for
has done
real.
this, and like a lot of the big network series have done where they just kind of move around from network to network.
Well, I assume that Netflix grabbed Seinfeld because they lost Friends and The Office, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, honestly, that's what's keeping Peacock in business. Although I have to admit, I am excited for AP Bio to come back for season 4 because season
Oh,
3 was a huge evolution.
is that only
Yep,
Peacock? Damn.
only Peacock.
Damn.
Man, I
What
love me some
we
AP
have
Bio.
we have Peacock, Kyle.
I know it's not through your Apple, is it?
No, I don't think
There,
so.
there are some services that are a little harder for me to access because I don't log in through your Apple ID.
I see.
But I think that one isn't one of
Yeah,
them.
Peacock should be one of them. You should be able to watch that with no problems. That is what our patrons do for us, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we show our appreciation by doing these shows every week. And let's just get to the regular show. Let's talk about Archer season 12, which I didn't realize. I guess they filmed before Jessica,
Walters?
last name
Walsh
I'm blanking on. Jessica Walters
Walters,
died.
Yeah, because she's in all these episodes heavily.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought this was going to be a season without
I
her,
thought
but no,
so
they
too.
apparently
Well,
had
I
more
think
episodes. Yeah.
I think the voice comes before the animation.
Sure.
Like they may do some stuff in post to sync, but I imagine that before they started producing this season, they probably had her or as soon as the scripts are done, they probably had her recording it. So
Right.
depending on how
Okay.
that worked
Well,
out.
guys, what did we think of season 12?
Great.
Dude, is this the first season where they've been kind of back to the spy agency in a while?
Oh, Kyle, you're so far behind. No, this is the second season where he's out of the coma.
Yeah, they went back to Spy last season. Yeah.
No, because that has been very enjoyable to see some of these one-off seasons where they do something crazy and bizarre. But when I started the season up and I was like, "Oh, we're back, baby," no, that felt good.
I think I thought these episodes were pretty good. I thought the stuff on the airplane was cracking me up. The sort of ineffectual
Oh,
terrorists or whatever they
with their plastic
that was
guns.
great. With their plastic guns.
Yeah.
Yes.
My favorite part of that was that Pam and Cheryl and them peace out at the beginning of that episode by Pam just overpowers her the kidnappers on the top level, throw them down the stairs, and then just pile a bunch of fucking luggage and shit onto that thing, and then they just start to party. Like they just start they throw a fucking rager on the second floor. Like they don't try and help. They don't try and get out. They're like, nah, if we're gonna die, we don't want to die with regrets. So we're gonna go like fucking gamble and drink and shit.
Honestly, if they decide to just move on, I honestly think a spin-off of Pam and Cheryl just like having adventures, I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Well, I love that if you read in the synopsis, they say like Pam and Cheryl/Carol. Like they
Right. Yep.
like that's her official name now is the both names.
Yes.
I also think there is like rich universe building potential for like a Krieger spinoff. Like
Yes, yeah.
that could go in a ton of different directions.
Krieger running like a scientific black market, I would definitely watch.
Mhm. Or an ensemble of other Kriegers,
Oh
like
man,
a Silicon Valley with Krieger.
or like Venture Brothers, where it's like evil scientists at one another.
Yeah.
Also, I really love the addition of Stephen Tobolowsky. He was added last season as Lana's husband, and he's doing great work here as this Nebuchadnezzar guy. Where you're
Oh,
like, this guy's a dick, but he's trying to be a nice guy, and he's rich, and like I want to hate him, and I do hate him, but at the same time, he's not really doing anything
well,
wrong.
that relationship is doomed. Not because of anything
Oh,
he's
it's so
doing,
bad. Yeah,
because
no, Lana is just torpedoing it.
Lana is not a good person. Lana is a bad
No,
person.
she's not.
Like, and
Yeah.
she thinks she isn't, and that's really the problem. Is like, why can't I settle down with a nice guy? Like, because you're a bad person. You're a bad guy.
Yes,
Like,
you're bad.
like you're the common denominator here. Like, and you don't get that. Like, when he said they were in the sauna, and he, you know, when you're in an argument with someone, and you say that thing where you know you've crossed a line in the argument and you can't walk it back.
I think there's a whole lot you're not telling me. First, I don't know about the agency. What's next?
You guys should really be quiet.
Good point.
What's next is you're fighting with me because I want to have a baby with you and you won't talk about it. Robert, they're looking for you. You never want to talk about it. You like to run around saving the world when I want to build a world of our own. But you keep pretending you're not a mother. And with 2 kids, that would be twice as hard.
She just stares dead at him, and I was like, "You fucked up now, dude."
Yep,
And
yeah.
what she does, she cold opens the door and gives him to the kidnappers.
Yep. Yes.
He's in there.
And they apologize for it later, but I'm like, no relationship survives. I had an argument. You said something mean to me, so I offered you up for murder. There's no "I'm sorry, buy you chocolate flowers" out of that.
No, that's a tricky thing to get past. Also, I love Archer's James Bond cane.
Oh, his tactile cane? Oh, great addition.
Yes.
Why didn't Krieger give this with the jaws of life? Oh shit! All right.
And of course, he uses it basically to mutilate people accidentally.
Yeah,
So yeah,
like, oh my god.
yeah. This show, like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, this show is dumb but in its smart way, and it's way better this late in a show than it should be. I think this is the final season,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be sad if they decided to make some kind of spin-off of some of these characters.
Yeah, this is supposed to be the final one, but then again, I thought the last season was supposed to be it. So
Same, yeah, yeah. Maybe they're doing that deep fake thing with her voice, and they're just gonna cut all things together.
Sure. Oh, dude, if picture this, Mallory is dies somewhat in the season, but in the next season she comes back as a disseminated voice and a robot. It just is a synthesized voice that just tells Archer how much he fucking sucks.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Oh, but my favorite joke in the series was Pam making fun, or no, she was actually having a good time with the flight attendant, one of the crews, and she said, "Dude, you gotta follow your dreams, man. You gotta shoot for the sky." And he's like, "Yeah, you know what? I always wanted to be a slam poet." Oh, you know what? Forget all the shit I just fucking said. Never mind. Dreams are stupid. I just love, like, I think Pam is my favorite character, honestly, of all the
Pam is
side
amazing.
characters.
Yeah, Pam's the best.
This is gonna be, and I hate this word, but this is gonna be epic! 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 Woo! Woo-hoo! Epic! 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 Hey! This is gonna be epic! 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 Woo! Woo-hoo! Epic! 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 Hey! This is gonna be epic!
Speaking of not chasing your dreams, or seeing where that goes, let's talk about The Chair over on Netflix.
Hoo-hoo.
I didn't know what to expect from this. All I knew going in was like, this is Benioff and Weiss' new project, but it's not really. They're producers, but it's not them. It's Amanda Peet.
Yeah, they're
is
not
like
writing
one
or
of the main
directing,
writers.
so
No, they just like their name is on it. No, this is Annie Julia Wyman and Amanda Peet, and that makes sense because I don't know who Annie Julia Wyman's only done this, but Amanda Peet was on a show called Togetherness on HBO that I loved, and she was also on the show the Not Arliss, that was
Mhm.
about the sportscaster. What was that one called? I forget.
Uh,
That Les put us all on to.
Not Sports Night.
Brockmire.
Brockmire, yeah.
Brockmire.
Brockmire. Yeah.
So, but Amanda Peet, I've always loved, and in Togetherness, I really loved Togetherness on HBO. It was the Duplass brothers show, and it had this sort of weird, funny, sweet, romantic yet dark tone that I feel like The Chair absolutely has as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with
Oh
that.
yeah.
I actually saw Amanda Peet on Colbert interviewing, talking about The Chair, and it was funny because he's like, "Ah, I haven't seen you in a while." I'm like, yeah, I haven't been getting a lot of work in the last couple years. Like, it's been kind of a rough. It's been a rough like decade or whatever. Like, she just kept making fun of like the fact that like, yeah, I haven't been around or in anything very prominent, so like that's why you haven't seen me.
Yeah,
Oh, that's fantastic.
But yeah,
but this was
the
great.
Chair here is like I either my taste is getting older or my mom's taste in TV shows is getting better. Because when I started watching this, she mentioned to me, "Oh, I love that show."
Ah. Well, I gotta say, I got a little inside baseball on this one because my wife works in a department at Texas State University, and it's pretty close to this. I mean, I'm probably speaking out of turn, but I've been to the Christmas parties. I've been to these little get-togethers. I know about how
Mhm.
the politics work, the dynamics of the institution, and
Your wife got
yeah,
tenure?
no, watch. Actually, she did get tenure this last year.
Oh, well.
Oh,
She unfortunately got it during COVID, which I say unfortunately because it was this huge event, and I would have loved to have celebrated her, in a big way, but
Yeah.
obviously we couldn't have done that. But yeah, normally it would have been, a big party here or fancy dinners and things like that. Actually, I did cook a fancy dinner and we celebrated here, but yeah,
So
no,
for
that's a
those
big milestone.
who don't know, The Chair it's a 6 episode uh show about the Sandra Oh playing Ji Yoon Kim, who is the first female head of the English department at this university in I'm not even sure exactly where this is. Where is it? Is it in Boston or
duh.
it's Boston,
It's the
right?
Ivy League in Willy Wonka. It
Yeah. Yeah.
exists in a
Yeah.
It's
non-universe.
called Penbrook or something.
Yeah, Pembroke. Uh, and she has a sort of will they won't they with Jay Duplass playing her professor who gets himself into hot water by doing something stupid and activating all the woke students against him. And then they've had this thing. His wife died, and they've been sort of dancing around each other for a while. But she's now his boss, and he's a problem, and that's all going on. Meanwhile, the older crew, played by Bob Balaban and Holland Taylor, the two big ones,
Mhm.
all the professors who basically she's getting pressured to cut some of the older professors loose and bring in some new blood, and all these guys like desperately don't want to lose their jobs, even though they probably should retire at this point.
Because that's the thing. If you're a teacher, you don't really need to retire. I mean, if you're physically
Yeah,
able to get in the car and drive to work every day, you can
yeah, it doesn't
probably
matter.
go a lot longer than most
It's
professions.
it's not like Roy Kent. You're not going to blow out your knee teaching.
Yep.
From what I understand of tenure, it's some sort of bulletproof armor, like imagination armor, like when you were a kid and said, "No, no, no, you can't tag me. I have an anti-it field." Like tenure is like a no, I can do whatever I want and get away with it card for old white guys, I guess.
That's
apparently
always what I
doing
thought.
apparently doing a Hitler salute will break through that force field.
Well, I think he won't. He just won't apologize for it. Like I love that
Yeah.
Sandra Oh calls him out on it. Like, oh, you're gonna go against me. I tried to help you this entire fucking time. You ignored
Yep,
every
yep.
piece of my advice, and now you're gonna be mad when I don't help you now. Like,
Yeah. I love David Morse here because he usually plays these guys with like, iron will and all this kind of stuff. And he's playing the most mealy mouth political dean in this
yeah,
show, and I loved it. What do we think about Everly Carganila, I think is her name, the young kid who is Ji Yoon's daughter. That's always tricky kid casting, but I thought she
she's
was
the
really
best
good.
thing about this
Ooh,
show.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
She like her and Bill's relationship, like when
Yes.
he gets he misses he doesn't even have to miss teaching because he
Mhm.
goes in and like and has a sponge of information that he can just throw like
Well,
lectures and
and
stuff at.
what a brilliant device where, you know, you can have Sandro's character being insecure about her relationship with this child. Meanwhile, Duplass is like, you know, fucking off, being a jerk off, and then the kid runs to him and is like jumping in his arms, and it's like flawless and easy
Yep.
for him. And
Yep.
you know, she can't get a break.
Yeah.
Well, he is not working. Like
Yeah.
he's spending time with her. Like and not only that, he's actually being a pretty good parent overall of just like here's like just offering information, treating her like an adult.
Because of the hole in his life, he's missing his kid who just went off to college.
Yeah, and the point where I'm like these two are bonded forever is when they write their apology letters for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And they've tested them out for each other. Like,
Yep.
I'm like, okay, so on one level this is cute, but also it's not because you're putting your apology on the level of this child's apology to another child. But
Right.
but it's cute for this scene. It's fine.
Yeah.
What do we think about the David Duchovny cameo? Was it over the top or was it fun?
Oh,
I appreciate any celebrity cameo where they're willing to make themselves look like an utter douchebag.
Duchovny always does that too. He has played
Mhm.
himself. He used to do that in what is it? The Gary Shandling, not Gary Shandling show, but the Larry Sanders show. He played himself
Ah.
as like basically a harasser.
Mhm.
The way he like says like, oh, I like had this thesis or whatever, and now like I'm trying to backdoor that way into becoming a doctor.
Yep.
His whole conversation with Sandra Oh, and her trying to like get through to him that he stopped learning about this shit 30 years ago.
Yeah.
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 And
Well,
like I can't give you a crash course of 30 years of involvement in this thing so that you can give one lecture.
right.
I do think it was interesting, but it does make you wonder, could they have put any celebrity in there? And if it was intentional, because like often this happens because the celebrity is friends with the creator or involved
Right.
in the show. Like if Brad Pitt did a cameo on Lego Masters, you know, it'd be because he produced it and it was a big thing.
Yeah.
But I think with this, I wonder if the writer goes, Dr. David Duchovny, like came up with the joke at the very end of that. And then the whole time they were like, I wonder if David Duchovny would do this.
Yeah, maybe so. Or I mean, it's possible Duchovny was like some of that may be true for all I know. I have no
Mhm.
idea if he was a
Oh yeah, we should have looked
just
that
shy of a
up.
doctorate. I have no idea.
Such responsible
I
podcasters.
think it actually might. I think he's. I remember. I don't know what he went to school for, but I'm pretty sure he almost went to a doctorate field or something before he became an
Oh
actor.
yeah,
Like,
Doctor
Yeah.
of Paranormal Investigation. I want to believe. Okay,
No,
yeah.
no. Scully was the doctor. He's just the agent.
he's
Yeah.
like on that list of people like Dolph Lundgren and Keanu Reeves of like that are way smarter than you think they are.
Yeah, that makes
Mhm.
sense. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I thought that was fun too. It was a little. I'm glad they didn't drag it out. I was like, is Duchovny going to be a regular or is this just one episode? And I'm glad it was just one
Ooh.
episode.
Duchovny's Princeton and Yale.
Wow, so that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, good
He
on
got his
you.
master's at Yale, but he doesn't have a doctorate. Oh, he may have an honorate, but it's not on
Yep.
here.
Yeah, he's got an honorary doctor from Pembroke.
Mhm. He does now.
um,
Honorary doctorate from Netflix.
I thought I was really taken with this show, and I thought the tone was interesting because it's funny, but it's also very sort of bittersweet and sad in some ways. And I think that's a really it's what I think of as like the Showtime tone, but it's
Mhm.
not quite as depressing as a lot of the Showtime shows where it's a lot more
Yeah.
lively and moving. It keeps
They never let
moving.
that shoe drop. Like they had
Yeah.
all these opportunities for like shit to really go sideways.
Yeah.
And they never took the easy layup with that.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to like things don't really all work out at the end too. Like it's good for Sandra Oh's character because this being the chair was like nightmare on her psyche.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite moments was the relief. Like when she realizes, oh wait, you guys don't want me as chair? Thank you.
She
Like,
looks
here you
so much
go.
happier in that last scene, like where they're reconnecting. Like I
Yeah.
love that scene where they're arguing about babysitting fees, and she
I even
seems so
think
much happier.
the scene in the boardroom, you visually see her performance. Like she walks in carrying the stress of the whole season,
Yeah.
sits down at the table, like, what's this meeting for? And they tell her, and it's just like she doesn't say anything, but you see it
Yeah.
wash over her face. She's just like, whew, you're fine.
She's like,
And
thank
then-
God I don't have to do this anymore.
Well, also
And then-
like it's also sad because now Asian woman has let go after a week of this chair so it can go to an older white woman.
Yeah.
And like, sure, it's still a woman, but like, she's part of that old system that like is not changing anything. She's part of that team of like that should probably retire, and
Yeah,
now she's got a
but-
more permanent
yeah.
position.
That said, I did love when Balaban like immediately nominates himself, and she's like, "No fucking way."
Fuck you.
Well, and the whole thing with The Office, the whole season, I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, what's the deal? And I felt like it was a perfect payoff. Like, it has an office. Because yeah, The Office was almost a character in the show, given all the people or all the different ways that people like use the room, you know, without her permission, like sleeping on the couch or just walking in without knocking.
Well, it's like
Uh,
kind of a metaphor for like that's why the initial scene is her chair breaking is like
Yeah.
this entire school system is more sheen and reputation than actual functioning establishment.
Yeah.
Like it may look good, but if you sit on it, the one of the wheels is going to come fucking off.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a pleasant surprise. I did not expect to like this as much as I did. But I was definitely I'm hoping there's more of it. This could be it. Like that could be the finale, but I'm hoping they'll do more of this because I want to see more of these characters.
oh yeah, I think they
I'm
have
sp-
places to
I'm
go.
split because I do want to see more. I thought it was so good, but also the ending of it felt so
It's a really good
right,
ending.
like
Yeah.
such a good ending.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh,
You
but I
know-
would like to see what's her name, the mom from 2.5 Men, tell me how many times she gave a hand job to people in paintings. Like, the fuck was that about? I love Sandra. I was like, what are we talking about here? Like,
Oh, it's so good.
All right. Let's have our double desserts. And let's start with Ted Lasso this week. Which
Okay.
again, I swear it gets better every episode. I know it's because they're building on what they're doing, but they continually swerve left when I think they're gonna go straight, and it always, in retrospect, makes perfect sense. And yet I'm like, I didn't see it coming, you fucking magicians.
yeah,
Mhm.
Marvel's twist, like Les said, Marvel's way of twist is that they don't twist.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna go left, but then they end up going straight.
Yeah.
And Ted Lasso is like the perfect of like, okay, you're gonna pull the football away from me. Like, no, but I'm not gonna this time. No, you say that every time, and yet every time I'm fucking Charlie with the football, and it's like,
But
damn
it's
it, you got
but
me
it's
again.
a good thing. You want them to pull that football away. You don't want to connect with it. You don't want to connect with that football.
That flying ugh is actually pretty pleasurable.
So I thought the bringing Roy Kent into the coaching staff had the effect you'd expect it to have, and
Mhm.
I thought they did exactly what I wanted with that, which is to show that Roy is a great coach, that he does some great addition stuff, but also that he does kind of overshadow Nate, which I was kind of expecting, but even that they took in a direction I was not expecting.
Yep.
Nate
Okay.
has to find himself of like what his position is here, because he thought he was the mean one, and no one's the mean one in the room when Roy Kent is in the room,
Mhm.
because Roy Kent is the embodiment of your grandfather with a tack on his like foot or something, that always grumpy but also funny grumpy, like
Yeah.
like a
I think-
non-threatening grumpy.
Yeah.
Roy Kent, I think, is also the solution for Nate's imposter syndrome, which is why he's coming off so aggressive, especially towards the guy who's now in his job. But
Yeah.
it's this idea that yes, I
Well,
am.
he has to
you know,
figure out what he brings to the table, so he finds himself in this episode by the end of it. And I really like that, where he does the spit thing again,
Yep.
and he because what he brings to it is that he's the only one that's watched from the outside of this game for like
Mhm.
30 fucking years,
Yep.
and is like, no, I know what the other team is gonna try and do in this last 5 minutes here, and they're gonna fuck up, and we can exploit it.
Seeing Nate come to that confidence while Roy Kent and Beard are both there trying to figure out what's going on. They're both discombobulated because
Ted left,
Ted
and they're
And
both
Nate-
scrambling.
Yeah, Nate is able to step up in a way that I was not expecting. I knew at some point they'd do something, but the way he steps up and then he's like, Roy's like, "What
I
are you
got
doing?" He's
this.
like, "Shut up, I got this." This is so perfect.
And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Roy's
you-
like, whoa, all right. Like,
you
he's
expect
got-
it to be at the very end, him right on a white horse, and it wasn't. It was like when he needed to be there, and it totally catches you off guard. It was a great
Yep.
moment.
Ted Lasso's panic attack. We've known this were out there. When it starts happening, I was like, oh no, oh no, 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 and I was actually like nervous for the character, but also this is probably triggered. We're gonna learn more about this, I'm sure, next episode. But he had the thing with this kid, the mild
Mhm.
panic of the realization of, and by the way, that this hit real fucking close to home. The realization that if something happened with this kid, he's too
He's
far
not
away to
there.
do anything about it. And it
Yeah.
happened to be, it was fine. It was on lunch, but like it was a real smack in the face realization of, oh, I literally can't do anything if my kid needs me. And I think that combined with the stuff going on with Jamie and his dad in his head, he's I think worried about being a bad dad.
The psychiatrist is always like asking him like, "Hey, I'm here if you need to talk." Like she almost ends every conversation she has with Ted that
Yep.
way.
Yep.
Cuz she knows that like she can see that his like Tedness is kind of deflecting whenever she's
Mhm.
talking with him and hiding something underneath there.
Yeah.
And like
Well,
this show has always stated that Ted is not a perfect person. Ted is a human being with a lot of stuff going on,
Yeah.
and he's been pushing it down for most of this season, and it's now starting to like I loved the fact that I thought, you know, obviously I thought like they were gonna hook up Rebecca and Ted, but
Yeah.
then he ends up in the psychiatrist's office, and then the Rebecca thing
mhm.
comes up with Sam. So it's
Yeah.
like, damn it, I somehow didn't see this coming, but also it makes complete sense how it happened.
Yeah. The brand of season one was very much fish out of water. This guy doesn't belong here.
Mhm.
And when we get into the meat of it, we find out, oh, yeah, Ted's a pretty screwed up guy with like his own problems. That's why he would even do this to begin with. It's not
Mhm.
that he's like some bumbling buffoon. Like, no, he really has reasons for like, I'm going to move to another country now because I think that's what my family needs. Um,
Mhm.
and the thing that and I mean, that totally explains why he's kind of in the mental state that we see in this episode. But the problem is the brand of the show now is everybody loves Ted Lasso. Even if you haven't seen the show, your friends have told you you're going to love Ted Lasso. It's the best. And I think a little of that, it took me a second to remember the first season. And it's like, oh, yeah, Ted's had these issues before. This was,
But I,
hinted at.
I I think, and I saw a friend of mine who's a big Ted Lasso fan pointing out there's been some backlash. Some people are like, "Oh, it's too nice," and I'm like, "Those people are crazy because this is amazing television, and making it nice and interesting at the same time is not an easy trick."
Yeah, and really only a couple characters are nice on it. This show is set in Britain, which I'm sure the national language is passive aggressive. Like I love that they showed what's the face, the Three Stooges dudes. They're watching Top
Yeah,
Chef or whatever.
they're
Yeah.
watching the Great British
Soccer
Bake Show. Yeah,
hooligans.
And they
yeah.
and they watch it the same way they watch everything else by yelling at the fucking screen and calling everybody a fucking moron.
You call that a souffle?
I love May, who basically adores them, but also like runs over them because the bit where he's like, if we win, I'm gonna burn this place to the ground. He's like, I'm gonna break some glasses. I'm gonna find ways to contribute to the community. Like, and it's all from her just staring at her. I love May. She does not get to do a lot, but the bit she delivers, she's fantastic with. When she's singing along with them about the soggy bottom cake, like
Yeah.
that was adorable. I honestly at that point I was like, I want a Crown and Anchor spinoff. I just want to see what goes on at this place all day.
Well, obviously that's just what that bar is. That's just what happens all day.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it doesn't matter if there's a soccer game on. There's gonna be something on that these idiots are yelling about and drinking.
I'm just saying, give me British Cheers set in Crown and Anchor, and I will watch it.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Let's talk before we get to the big reveal with Rebecca and Sam because that's a big one. Let's talk about Coach and Jane, which I love. They've been slow playing this about how bad they are for each other, and I love the way that Higgins came. I mean that the way that played out was so good.
Diamond dogs. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
dude, me and Les had a big conversation about this, and he related to Ted where he said I told my friend that she could be kind of a pill, and I told him that, and that was the last best man speech I ever gave.
Yes.
and like I think Les said he had a experience just like that with a friend of his where he asked him to be his best man, and he had to come out and say, "I do not like your girlfriend."
Yeah. Well, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, they had a reasonable point of like, and it plays nicely off Rebecca. This again, masterclass in television. It plays off of Rebecca and her mom, and the like. Yeah, you don't say anything because all it does is you get blamed for a bad relationship that you have nothing to do with.
All you get is
Mhm.
punished. And I like that even though it doesn't blow up with Higgins at the end of it, Coach is like, I get it. It changes nothing.
Yeah.
Coach still goes on the date. Like, it just makes Higgins feel better.
But I like that Higgins gets that moment of like, no, I was right to interfere because the coach, he heard me. Like whether he does anything about it now, he heard me and he didn't reject me. And in that way, he is right. Higgins is right to do what he does. But there was no way for him to know that that was the case, and he still tried to do it because he wanted to help out. And I thought Higgins, that plays into something that was going on with Higgins, which in season 1, Rebecca was really mad at him for basically helping Rupert out the whole time.
Yeah.
And then he helped Rebecca with Ted. I mean, he was basically being a lackey, and he's coming out of that. He's basically going his own way. He's doing what he thinks is right, even if he
He's
knows he's going
finding
to
his
get punished
voice.
for it.
Yeah.
And it's an echo of what's going on with Nate. It's an echo of what's going on with Rebecca. It's an echo of what's going on with Ted finally deciding to go to therapy. Like that is what this is all these stuff. It layers into each other thematically. It all works, and it's all telling the same stories in different ways.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's wondering if they should tell their friend about their bad relationship, just think about this. How many times have you heard someone say, I was in a really bad relationship, but then a friend of mine sat me down, explained everything that was wrong about that person. I agreed with them and broke out with them the next day, and everything was great. It's never happened.
That's
it's
probably
never
true.
happened.
That's probably true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you just kind of want on the record for when they do break up, and you be like, "See, I told you."
I told you so
But
ledger.
if they don't break up, then yeah, you're in trouble. When they get married, you're not going to that wedding.
As long as they don't invite you into their group counseling sessions, or in
Right.
Ted's case, just his solo counseling session, which we knew this was coming all season. It was just
Yeah.
like the when and the where.
So let's talk about the big thing, big reveal at the end. Sam and Rebecca.
These sons of
Mm.
bitches.
I don't know how I didn't see it coming, but I didn't. And it's funny because it's no less a problem than her and Ted, because at least she and Ted are somewhat on the same footing, even though she is very much Sam's boss, and there's an age difference.
As much
and,
as she's Ted's
yeah.
boss, she's way more Sam's boss than she
Yeah.
is Ted's boss.
So I don't know how that's going to go. Is it going to be heartbreaking for both of them? Are they going to try it? Are they going to realize it doesn't, like, there's any number of ways it can go, and I know that I trust this show to handle it right.
That outlies the problem with that dating app, which is the second you find out you've been flirting with your sister this whole time, it's like anonymity's not that great now, is it? I'm from the same.
Yeah,
born in
there's
the same
something to be
hospital.
said about seeing somebody's face.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling that's part of the gag, and that's part of the story. Yeah.
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 They could have a lot of fun with this if we get an episode where it's like we know but they don't know. This could be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they've been playing with the camera tricks trying to make us think it was Ted, and I just forgot that Sam and her had this moment in season 1, this accidental flirty thing of like where she thinks he's asking her on a date, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm not. Not that I wouldn't though. You're just so you're."
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there was that whole exchange they had of like he was like, no, not because I'm not into you. Like I would be into you, but you're my boss, and like no, I'm making this worse. And just
So yeah, Ted Lasso continues to be the best show on television. It's not even close.
also right before we go on to it, Jamie, his arc with the learning to be a
yeah.
prick, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, that was great. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
signal
The
was
signal.
fantastic.
Like the signal was great. That whole like no, you got to be a prick, but like at the right times, you got to get in their head and be
Yep.
like, because now they got him to be a team player, but they need him to be the guy that scores goals. So like
Yep.
they need to find this balance.
I also love that Roy Kent got to be the one to fix him, because Roy and Jamie legitimately hate each other.
Yeah, but I like that Jamie was like, he's mad that he won't coach him.
Yeah.
Like, he's not mad that he's telling him what to do. He's mad that he's not telling him what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he legit wants help.
Yeah. I also love Roy when Ted's like, you're paid to catch the whole team. He's like, take 4% off my paycheck.
Well, I love that whole exchange because Ted is listening in intently, like, what'll be the signal? And Ted's like, yeah, I'm pretty curious about that myself. And he just comes in off screen like,
Yep. Yeah. It's
Good stuff.
masterclass in TV. It continues to be great. What If had its 4th episode. Just my quick hot take on What If. Every episode is a little bit of a diminishing return for me. Like, I've liked each episode a little less than the previous one, but I'm still really enjoying it. It's just that I love the first one, and each time they go to a different one, I'm like, this isn't the corner of the universe I was interested in. And I'm not a huge fan of the Doctor Strange movie. I think it's one of their flawed movies. And I thought they did some good stuff here, but it's definitely deep in the Doctor Strange mythology.
It's the first one where I'm like, I mean, and not that their time travel, like any time travel makes sense, but I was like, wait a minute, I thought you've explained this, that you can't do this in the Endgame movie where when you go back in time, you create an alternate timeline. There is no altering your future, but now there's two different futures in this universe that's separate from the other I'm like, fuck, I don't, my brain hurts.
Yep. I had to rewind it in 3 spots to be like, okay, explain that again.
You got to remember, though, 2 things. One, they talk about paradox, and they talked about that in Doctor Strange, that he uses paradox as sort of as a weapon. 2, the time stone is able to break those rules. And 3, magic. Magic lets you do a lot of shit that you can't otherwise do.
Well, that's what I'm like. The whole thing is like, well, do you want to see Doctor Strange fight himself in a huge magic duel? Like, yeah, well, this is how we're going to get there, so shut up.
Yes, I do. And I love the Cagliostro stuff. I thought that was great design. It reminded me of Avatar. Like, I love that temple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gorgeous.
I also thought...
Or like something from the library from Doctor Who.
Yeah,
In the first episode, he meets River Song, the David Tennant episode.
Yeah.
But like a way cooler version.
I was a little disappointed that when he was absorbing all those creatures, that we never got like Marvel Universe nods. Like it felt like these are like generic fantasy creatures.
There was a couple nods.
Was there?
So Surtur's fire dragon from the beginning of Thor Ragnarok. And then there was a snake creature. What did I read? Crud, the snake creature. Oh, it probably wasn't, but they were saying it could have been a nod to the the Midgard serpent, Loki's.
Yeah, that seems like a reach to me. I want my Easter eggs a little bit more.
One of them was a white wolf. What's that, Randy? It's a white wolf. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Is that
Wait,
an Easter
Bucky
egg?
got absorbed?
Yes, Bucky got absorbed. I don't know.
Oh man, I can't. Doctor Strange with a bionic arm. Let's do this.
I mean, there's a difference between Easter eggs and fans making shit up, and I feel like that's heavily into that second part.
Yeah.
But we saw the tentacles again, which is a callback to the Sharon Carter thing. Which we're definitely gonna see more of that. Like that
seems to be a thing that they're threading through. Also, Uatu actually gets involved in this one, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I like that too.
Like Sorcerer Supreme Strange can actually sense him and get a like, hey, there's stuff written about you. You could fix this. Is like, yeah, like you're fixing it right now. No, that's why I don't do shit.
Yeah. I didn't catch was that the ancient one? Was that actually is it Kate Blanchett? Who plays the ancient?
Tilda Swinton.
No, it's
Tilda
Swinton.
Yeah.
It was Tilda Swinton because that was great.
That's like one of my favorite parts of the episodes is at the beginning, like reading the names. Like who they get for this one.
Who'd they get? And they did. They got Rachel McAdams. They got Cumberbatch, right? I'm pretty sure that was him.
Oh yeah. Do you guys know about the secret cameo yet?
No.
Okay, do you remember in Iron Man 1, the reporter who he ends up like hooking up with?
Yeah, Christian Everhart, yeah.
So when he's watching the newscast in one of the timelines where he just doesn't pick her up and then she dies in the fight, that's who the newscaster is, and they got her to do the voice.
Oh wow,
Jesus.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is so fucking... That's
How does
so
the internet know this in less than 24 hours? They're already like publishing articles about all this stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that they got that actress to go back and play that small part, that is so... That's so
crazy.
them. Yeah.
I did like the magic duel stuff. One of my complaints about Doctor Strange the movie is that the sling rings and there's a lot of like punching and kicking, and I don't want Doctor Strange to do a lot of punching and kicking. I want to fire Eldritch Blasts and that kind of stuff.
It was a lot of like martial arts versus like kind of Avatar: The Last Airbender energy bending type stuff.
And this feels more like what they were doing with him in Infinity War and Endgame, which gives me hope that that's what they're going to go. Is he's like flying around, he's firing blasts. It's very much like sorcery type stuff.
Well, what I'm hoping is that sling ring stuff is like base magic. Like that's the start stuff you have to learn in order to do the other cool shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like he gets to do a cool shit in Endgame, like copy himself, but in this one we're like summoning fucking snake demons and dragons and like punching people into other dimensions.
Transmutation stuff that gets real expensive in CG. So it's like, get all that out of your system in animation.
I really like the call to the Vishanti. That was this protection spell, because that's a deep cut Doctor Strange thing. Actually, not a super deep cut. It's just an important thing. The Vishanti are one of the entities that he calls upon for power. So I was kind of glad they referenced that.
Yeah, because they kind of gloss over that in the movie. They just say we pull our power from other dimensions, like trying to make it science-y, I guess.
Yeah. But
yeah, that was back when they were kind of Marvel was still a little bit afraid of magic.
Yeah. Now they're not.
Yeah, now they don't give a shit.
This also was maybe the truest of the What If comics, in that usually What If comics end with an entire universe being destroyed because of the change.
This one did feel like that, of like, oh yeah, it's what the what ifs usually end of, like, if this didn't happen the way it happened, it would have been much worse. That's
the world
usually
ends,
the moral of the story.
Everybody dies, Spider-Man suffers. That's what happens in What Ifs. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Everyone dies except for Spider-Man because he has to feel guilty about it.
Yeah. So yeah, this definitely felt like classic What If. It's maybe darker than the murder episode.
Well, it is one person, like R. Strange loses, and the darker it's his darker impulses winning and destroying.
Christine dies
him realizing at the end was pretty heartbreaking too.
Yeah, and Christine dying over and over again, and him not being able to do anything about it. That was pretty harsh too.
What I love about the conversation with Uatu at the end is us being, he may be the watcher, but we're the actual watchers.
Okay? Yeah.
We're the watchers of the trailer, so we know that there's going to be some Guardians of the Multiverse team up coming, and this evil Doctor Strange is a part of it. So when he's like begging him, like, don't destroy my universe, and he's like, oh, I don't want to get involved. You know, in the back of his head, he's like, but I got this job I could use you for. Nick Fury style.
What I thought they were going to do, like, because they said, like, this is a fixed point in time, and that Christine needs to die in order for you to become the Sorcerer Supreme. And we know that's not true because he did it another way in another universe.
Oh, yeah. That'd been good.
Yeah. Right. And instead, what if the whole universe was destroyed by his arrogance? Yeah. Well, that's very true to comics Uatu. That's what he did until finally he's like, I'm not touching you. All right, that'll wrap it up for us this week. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to our patrons. And reminder that you can go over and listen to our Patreon exclusive episodes if you are a member of our Patreon, which you should do by going over to patreon.com/TVDudes and throw us a buck an episode. And until next time,
TV Dudes out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.